All right, let's jump right in with a pretty wild question. Is imagination really more important than knowledge? It sounds a little crazy, right? But today, we're going to dig into what some of the greatest minds in history had to say about this, and you might be surprised to find out they'd give a big, loud yes.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This isn't some poet or philosopher saying this. This is Albert Einstein. His name is basically a synonym for genius and knowledge. But he believed the real mark of intelligence isn't just what you know, but your ability to dream up what you don't know. So, what on earth did he mean by that? Let's unpack it.
Well, Einstein had a perfect way of explaining it. He said, logic will get you from A to Z, imagination will get you everywhere. Think about that. He saw logic as this incredible but, straight line tool. It follows the rules that are already there. But imagination? It doesn't care about rules. It can jump from A to Q or just invent a whole new alphabet. It's what creates the new roads that logic can then drive on.
And for Einstein, this was way more than just a cool quote. This was literally how he worked. He didn't just believe in imagination, he used it as a tool to completely reshape how we see the entire universe.
And here's the crazy part. So many of his biggest breakthroughs didn't happen in a fancy lab. No, they happened inside his own head. He ran these things called thought experiments, basically using his imagination in a super-focused, scientific way to picture scenarios that were totally impossible to create in real life back then. Let me show you a couple of mind-blowing examples.
So this all started when he was just a kid, really. He asked himself this almost childlike question, what would happen if I could run alongside a beam of light? Now, by just imagining this impossible race and then thinking through the consequences, he hit a wall. The laws of physics just broke. Unless time itself could slow down and space could bend. And there it is. That one incredible imaginative question led him straight to his groundbreaking theory of special relativity. Amazing, right?
And he did it again years later. This time he pictured something super simple, a person falling off a roof. He realized that for that one moment they're in free fall, they'd feel totally weightless, right? Just like someone floating in space. That simple mental picture triggered what he called his happiest thought. The idea that gravity isn't really a force pulling us down. It's actually the shape of space and time itself bending around us. And that was the tiny seed that grew into his absolute masterpiece, the general theory of relativity.
Okay, but here's what's so fascinating. Einstein was not some lone wolf on this. This wasn't just some weird habit of his. When you start looking around at science, at art, even at history, you find this incredible chorus of brilliant minds all singing the same tune about how important imagination is. Take the legendary astronomer Carl Sagan. He saw imagination as the fuel for all human progress. Knowledge, he said, tells us about the world we have. But imagination? That's what lets us dream up worlds that could exist, and then it gives us the push to actually go out and build them, whether that means flying to another planet or creating a better society right here.
And this idea goes way beyond just science. Listen to the artist Pablo Picasso. Everything you can imagine is real. Now for him, that wasn't just some artsy metaphor. He genuinely believed that the second you imagine something, an idea, a vision, a feeling, it starts to become real. It exists in your mind first, and then you can bring it out into the world, onto the canvas. Imagination is the literal starting point of all creation.
And here's another really important angle. The author, J.K. Rowling, points out that imagination isn't just about making new things, it's about connecting with each other. It's the superpower that lets us put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to try and feel what they feel. It's how we build empathy, and honestly, empathy is the glue that holds our whole world together.
Let's just jump back to science for one more quick proof point. This is Max Planck, the guy who basically invented quantum theory. And even in that super logical, math-heavy world, he said that the really big new ideas don't come from just deduction, from just crunching the numbers. They come from what he called an artistically creative imagination, that creative leap of faith into something totally new. And finally, how about this one? From a guy who knew a thing or two about power, Napoleon Bonaparte. He said, "Imagination rules the world." Just boom. He knew that true power wasn't just about armies and laws. It was about creating a vision, a story about the future that gets people so fired up, they'll follow you anywhere. Imagination literally shapes history. So, we've heard from geniuses in science, art, and history. What does all this mean for us? For you and me? Why should we even care about the power of imagination in our everyday lives?
Well, when you pull it all together, you get this amazing picture.
Imagination is what asks the questions that reason can't even think of yet. It's the absolute source of all creativity. It's the engine that drives scientific breakthroughs, from Einstein to Planck. It builds empathy and connection, like Rowling said. And, as Napoleon showed us, it literally shapes our world. It's not just one thing. It's like this fundamental human superpower.
And this, right here, is the most important thing to remember. This power, it isn't just for the Einsteins and Picassos of the world. Not at all. It's inside every single one of us. It's the fundamental tool we all use, every day, to solve problems, to dream up new ideas, to understand the people around us, and to build the future we want to live in.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought from Ralph Gerard, because it just nails the whole idea perfectly. Reason can answer questions, but imagination has to ask them. Think about that. Knowledge is amazing for finding the answers, but every single bit of progress, every discovery, every piece of art, it all starts with one simple thing, an act of imagination, the courage to ask a brand new question.